from Funky Town, and I'm here today with
Liz.
Oh my gosh,
Liz Gatra.
Liz Gatra. And tell me about your company.
So we are Pecktec Games. We've been around since 2016. Our first game was Xenophera. We have just recently successfully kickstarted our next game, which is a spin-off game called Xenophera Galactic Market. And we are currently working on a new cooperative game called Fading Realms. So
Oh, we got to see a little bit of that last
Yes.
night. I sat and watched for a minute or so. That looks like quite an elaborate game.
it is. It is my first cooperative game, but not my first game, actually. It was the very first game I came up with years ago. I had to put it aside for a little while, and now I've returned to it, and I think it's all the better for that break.
Sometimes those complicated projects, you got a little steep for a little bit, like good tea, right?
Yeah, when you're too close, sometimes you can't see what you're missing.
So was your first project a Kickstarter also?
Yes, yes. I did a Kickstarter back in 2016 for Xenophera and successfully funded. It was quite exciting.
What kind of game is Xenophera?
So Xenophera is a creature capture game. The concept is that you've been hired by one of the royal family to represent them, and you need to go out and capture the most magnificent collection of creatures for them. To do that, you have to recruit a crew, build cages, and then use your crew in cages to capture the creatures, all while defending what you have from the other players.
It looked like it was sort of card-based. What kind of mechanisms are in there?
So it is card-based. So I'd say there's three main mechanisms. So you have hand cycle. You do have to cycle through your cards in your hand to find the right cards for the right time in the game. There is a lot of resource management because your hunter and your crew can only do one thing each turn. So you have to decide, are you going to use that one character in order to build a cage, or are you going to use it to capture a creature? You can only do one or the other. So there's some strategizing around that resource management. And then at the end of the game, there are secret collection cards that if you achieve that collection, you get bonus points.
And tell me about your the next game. You've just finished crowdfunding another one on Kickstarter.
Right.
And it was successful and did pretty good.
Yes, it was.
And tell me about that game.
So this is a spin-off game. So it is set in the world of Xenophera, has most of the cute creatures from the original game and some new ones, which is cool. And what we did was we said, okay, how would this work out in real life? You know, and there's some people who love all that adventure and running around, getting dirty and the dangerous work. And then there are others that are like, that's too hard. So they're going to go to the Galactic Market. And at the Galactic Market, they get to do basically bidding on creatures. So it's a silent auction bidding game with a twist. So, of course, like anything that's a little sketchy, you have to watch out at the market. So it's not just about outbidding your competition, it's about outwitting them, too.
How did you find the whole process of kickstarting games? Was that do you feel like you could have made Xenophera, for instance, without Kickstarter, or would it just have been harder? Would it have been impossible?
So I would say that Kickstarter has changed.
Yeah.
So my first game back in 2016, it was great. Like there was a lot of interaction with the backers, and we had a lot of fun, and it felt more like a community, and we drove a lot of talk, and I noticed the comments were different. And then with the new one, I felt it was very different. So 7 years later, kickstarting, it was more about the marketing and building, I don't even know if you would call it a following, but an awareness. And then it was a lot about sending things out. And I noticed the community itself was not the same. I feel like kickstarting things has changed over the last 7 or 8 years. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I did notice it's a change. And I do kind of miss the camaraderie and the community that I had 7 years ago. Although I will say I'm going to more conventions now, and I think that's kind of subbing for it.
Yeah.
The problem is your reach at conventions is only related to how many conventions you can go to and how many people you can talk to at a convention.
Have you ever considered GameFound?
I have, and I've gone back and forth about what I want to do for the next game. So we've got the new cooperative game, Fading Realms, coming out next year. And I'm trying to figure out how do I really get the awareness of it out there. And I've talked to people about GameFund versus Kickstarter, And there's of two minds. So on one hand, I hear, well, there's a lot of gamers who have switched over to GameFound, and so you'll hopefully find your audience of gamers there. On the other hand, though, I've heard with Kickstarter, yes, it may not be solely gamers, but you have an opportunity of finding people that might be more casual gamers who are there looking at some other project and just decide to look at your game. And so you get them. So you may get people who may not have thought, they didn't go there for a game, but browsing around, they're like, okay, well, I was looking at shoes, but now I'm going to look at this game too.
Oh, so many times. I'm really bad at impulse buy, especially if I really like the art. Tell me about the artist that you. Is it the same artist for these Xena?
For Xenofair, it is. So it's Jeff Porter. He's out of Kansas City. He's done a lot of work for a lot of games. So he's worked on Era of Kingdoms. He's worked on I always forget it. 4K, Warhammer. There we go. Warhammer.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's done artwork for that, and he truly loves the artwork. So, little sneak peek. I'm going to be sending out a note to our backers since we finalized and funded the game yesterday, and the Kickstarter has ended. I've got to send out my thank you. But Jeff and I had a long conversation yesterday, and we were looking at putting out an expansion pack that would have been free for our backers if we had met certain goals, and we didn't quite meet the goals, but we were close.
Wow.
So Jeff and I have decided that we are still going to give that to our backers. And so it's introducing a whole new world in the Xenofair universe. It's going to be a water-based world. So it'll be our first truly aquatic creatures. So that will be coming for our backers.
That's super exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when they do that. Like, well, you almost make it and you're like, I guess we could push it on through.
Oh, yeah. But, hey, it's Jeff and I do it because he enjoys the art. He enjoys drawing these creatures and bringing them to life. I enjoy making games that people enjoy, and that's really my enjoyment. And so, it doesn't cost us really that much to add a few more cards for that, but hopefully it adds a lot in the enjoyment for the people who are playing the game.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. I wish you the best of luck with your new game that you're developing and this one that's just coming up. I guess it'll be available for late pledges soon?
Yep. We are going to be opening that up probably Monday for pre-orders. And then, we're looking at, assuming everything goes well, October, November, we'll be shipping that out to our backers and to pre-orders.
So where can people find more information about you?
So you can go out to puffduckgames.com, and you can find out all about our games there.
All right, there we go. Puff Duck Games here at Funk K-Town in Knoxville. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you, Sean.
Bye.
Bye.